This is Hollywood. De Longpre Park, south side of De Longpre Avenue between G Avenue and June Street, developed in 1924 for $66,000. De Longpre Park is named after the painter Paul De Longpre, whose celebrated home at Hollywood Boulevard and Cahuenga Avenue was the first tourist attraction in Hollywood.
Ida Wilcox, who had founded the city, was the one who invited Paul De Longpre to come out to California and to Los Angeles to bring a little class to her town. And he built a huge mansion for himself at the behest of Ida Wilcox up on 1700 North Cahuenga Boulevard. And there's a picture of it actually online too. It's a magnificent piece of property and was part of the tourism of Hollywood when it was built. In the 20s it was finally torn down, and now it's a big parking lot now, of course, like everything else is. But you know, that's a little bit of some of the little stuff that's here in Hollywood and in LA that is there, but you gotta scroll around looking for it.
And De Longpre Park, located at De Longpre and Cherokee Streets. Paul De Longpre was 1855 to 1911, was a French painter of flowers who worked mainly in the United States. He has a postcard circa of 1909. He was born in 1855 in Lyon, France, and died on June 29, 1911. Come on, Hollywood. He was between 55 and 56 years old in Los Angeles. He was French and known for his paintings of flowers. His most notable works was Double Peach Blossoms, 1902, White Fringe Poppies, 1902, and was part of the Realism movement. And he was married to Josephine De Longpre. Once the late silent film star Rudolph Valentino been interred and the obscurities completed, the thought of how the actor would be remembered was foremost in everyone's mind. The city of Chicago, home of the infamous Pink Powder Puffs editorial formed the Rudolph Valentino Memorial Association in hopes of erecting a remembrance of some kind. The Arts Association of Hollywood proposed a monument that would be the forerunner of series of memorials to pioneers' film industry. Now, a committee of local Italians, which included director Robert Villagola, Silviano Bulbiani, and his wife, screenwriter June Mathias, suggested the construction of an Italian park on Hollywood Boulevard with a memorial theater and a large statue of Valentino as its central feature. Despite these grandiose projects, no memorials materialized, and it slowly became apparent that the same would happen with Valentino's final resting place. Several TV shows are filmed right here in De Longpre Park. After Valentino's death, a decision could not be made as to where the actor's body would finally rest. George Allman, Valentino's manager, was confident that Alberto, the actor's brother, and the person... Come on, Hollywood. person who would have the final say would consent to intern the body in Hollywood. The mayor of Castellano Valentino's birthplace, cabled Alberto, employed him to have the actor's body returned there for burial with ceremony. Valentino's sister Maria, who at first wanted her brother brought back to Italy, later concurred with the Hollywood delegation that, in part, the suggestion of William Randolph Hearst. To solve the problem, at least temporarily, June Mathias offered her own crypt at the Hollywood Cemetery's Cathedral Mausoleum until an appropriate memorial could be decided upon or built. Several movies and television shows was filmed in Longpre Park, from Highway Patrol Killer 1959, Adam 12 Victim of the Crime 1975, Sweet Pie and Pie 1941, Rockford Files, a 4-pound brick, to NCIS Los Angeles, SWAT. Just a few of the shows and movies that have been filmed and are still being filmed as a major production site in Los Angeles.
Oh, the Longpre Park was dedicated to Rudolph Valentino, actually, and the statue that's in the middle of that, which sat on a fountain originally, is the dedication to youth, because I think he was like 27 or 28 years old. He died from sepsis of a appendix. I think it was an appendix surgery, and he died in New York. And there was a huge state funeral for him in New York. And when he came out here to Los Angeles, they shipped the body out here. There was another huge funeral for him, because he was considered to be the very first heartthrob of the silent era, and women were just swooning and passing out, and it was quite the scene. But that's pretty much the only monument to him, is that statue at De Longpre Park, and the only other place that there's a monument to him at all is where he's buried over at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
Aspiration, elected in the memory of Rudolph Valentino, 1893 to 1926. Presented by his friends and admirers from every walk of life in all parts of the world, in appreciation of the happiness brought to them by his cinema portrayals. It's called Aspiration in memory, and this was erected in the memory of Rudolph Valentino from 1895 to 1926. Hollywood.
Now, the dedication and the history of the Aspiration statue that stands in De Longpre Park that year is celebrating its 80th anniversary. Followed by a short video that documented the early history of Aspiration was shown. Next, the audience was treated to a recitation of 3 poems from Valentino's book, Daydreams, by Allison Francis, the mother of the 2030 Lady in Black. The crowd was serenaded then by 2 songs by Frank Lavador, Candlelight and the Angels, and Above Needed Someone to Love. The lyrics were reportedly written by Valentino for future Lady in Black. Dietrich Flame, who wrote the music. Frank was accompanied with piano by Garrett Bryant. Beautiful flowers and trees, more family-oriented, beautiful statues of various things. There's still one statue that was untitled in the park. Cannot find who it is. But this is where one of the memorials for Rudolph Valentino stands, called the Aspiration. And there was a dedication ceremony. His other one is located at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
1970.
No, this is a statue in front of the playground in the background, and then off to the right is where you see the Aspiration statue of Rudolph Valentino. In researching, there's no one's name. He cannot find out who it is. I've spoken with several people that knows the history, and they cannot find the name of the person that's the unnamed person. Again, De Longpre Park is a very popular filming location. Several movies, TV shows over the years have been filmed there. Luna Park, Rose and Alexander. It was a short in 2002. Emily McWilliams, Aaron Chambers. Again, this is De Longpre Park. City of Los Angeles is maintaining the park, and it's where the Aspiration statue for Rudolph Valentino stands. It's a beautiful park, playground.
This is Hollywood. Hollywood.
When you're in Hollywood, stop by the De Longpre Park at Cherokee and De Longpre and June Streets. It's a hidden jewel, must see, and check out the Rudolph Valentino statue.